You will not be able to stay home, brother. You will not be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out. You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by Xerox in 4 parts without commercial interruptions. The revolution will not show you pictures of Nixon blowing a bugle and leading a charge by John Mitchell, General Abrams, and Spyro Agnew to eat hog maws confiscated from a Harlem sanctuary. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by the Schaefer Award Theater and will not star Natalie Woods and Steve McQueen or Bullwinkle and Julia. The revolution will not give your mouth sex appeal. The revolution will not get rid of the nub. The revolution will not make you look 5 pounds thinner because the revolution will not be televised, brother. There will be no pictures of you and Willie Mae pushing that shopping cart down the block on the dead run or trying to slide that color TV into a stolen ambulance. NBC will not be able to predict the winner at 8:32 on report from 29 districts. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of Whitney Young being run out of Harlem on a rail with a brand new process. There will be no slow motion or still life of Roy Wilkins strolling through Watts in a red, black, and green liberation jumpsuit that he has been saving for just the proper occasion. Green Acres, Beverly Hillbillies, and Hooterville Junction will no longer be so damn relevant, and women will not care if Dick finally got down with Jane on Search for Tomorrow, because black people will be in the street looking for a brighter day. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no highlights on the 11 o'clock news and no pictures of Harry R. women liberationists and Jackie Onassis blowing her nose. The theme song will not be written by Jim Webb or Francis Scott Key, nor sung by Glenn Campbell, Tom Jones, Johnny Cash, Engelbert Humperdinck, or The Rare Earth. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be right back after a message about a white tornado, white lightning, or white people. You will not have to worry about a dove in your bedroom, the tiger in your tank, or the giant in your toilet bowl. The revolution will not go better with Coke. The revolution will not fight germs that may cause bad breath. The revolution will put you in the driver's seat. The revolution will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised. The revolution will be no rerun, brothers. The revolution will be live.
Yo, speak to me. Can you speak? Speak to yourself. Speak to you? Speak to who? Who are you speaking to? Are you speaking? You speaking? Let's speak about art. Art Speakers on Bush Radio 89.5 FM. Welcome to Art Speakers. Good afternoon on this rainy Saturday in Cape Town. I'm Camille and this is Art Speakers. In this hour I will be talking a lot about art, things that are happening in Cape Town, and we also have a very interesting interview with Tozamile from Torart, an art project in Langa, so stay tuned for that. And you just listened to Gilcott Heron with his iconic track The Revolution Will Not Be Televised, released in 1971. He was an American poet, musician and writer, and with this song he gave the message that you have to be active, you can't be a passive participant in the revolution, and his nickname is the Godfather of Rap. So later on we go into the art news, but before that we play the next track. It's Merlot with By the Wine Is Okay.
Radio 89.5. I love this station.
That was The Wine is Okay by with the song Merlot. And we go straight into the art news of this week. Each week on Art Speakers here on Bush Radio, I talk about things that are happening in the art scene, news topics from the past week. And we start with, according to The Guardian, in the United States, many art organizations are losing money from the National Endowment for the Arts. It's a big government fund that supports arts. And under Donald Trump, this support is being cut. Some groups already got emails saying they won't get money anymore, and the government now wants to support other things like AI, religion and health. And this is a big problem for smaller art groups like LGBTQ plus film festivals or publishers of translated books, because without the money they can show fewer voices from different cultures. So some fear that private sponsors will also stop helping because of this. And people in the art world are very worried, but they also support each other. That's one person said, it feels like the end of something, but we have to keep going. We are damaged but not defeated. Yeah, there are scary times all over the world. And then according to BBC News, this week Sir David Attenborough turns 99 years old, and he's releasing a new film, a new documentary called Ocean. And in the film he says that the sea is the most important part of our planet and it can help us fight climate change. He shows how fishing and pollution are damaging the ocean, but also shares hope because the ocean can recover if we protect it. And Attenborough says we still have a chance to save nature, and he hopes world leaders will take action. Ocean will be in the cinemas from this week, and Attenborough said it's the most important documentary he ever made. It's crazy, 99 years old and still doing such great work. And then lastly, according to VRT News, Belgium American cartoonist Tel Nies has won a Pulitzer Prize. It's the most important journalism award in the US, and she was praised for her courage after leaving the Washington Post, where she had worked since 2008. And Tel Nies quit earlier this year with the newspaper, refused to publish one of her cartoons, so that's why she quit it. And the cartoon showed Amazon boss and newspaper owner Jeff Bezos kneeling at the statue of Donald Trump, along with other media leaders and Mickey Mouse. The newspaper said it didn't publish it because they had already covered the topic in other articles, but Tel Nies called it a dangerous moment of press freedom. And the Pulitzer jury said she gave powerful and creative commentary on powerful people and institutions. It's the second time Tel Nies wins this award, and she hopes her story shows how important it is for journalists and artists to speak freely. I couldn't agree with that more. And now it is already time for our weekly interview of this week, because I have a long interview for you lined up, but a very interesting one. This week I had the pleasure to speak with artist Tozamile Mnapu, born in the Eastern Cape but lived in Langa now, where he has his organization Torart. He gives workshops and tours in Langa about art in the township. And I recorded the interview earlier this week in Langa, in his shop and in studio. So that's why you will hear some background noises. But it won't bother you at all. Here comes Tozamile Mnapu. Could you start with introduce yourself, to the listener?
Okay.
Yeah, a bit about who you are and what you do.
Okay. As you heard before, my name is Tozamile Mnapu. I'm a full-time visual artist, born and raised in the Eastern Cape. I started coming to Cape Town or in the Western Cape since I was young. Then in my adult life, I decided to move to this side permanently because of, obviously, my work and greener pastures. Looking for greener pastures. My business in the Eastern Cape somewhere after 2010 started, kind of struggle. I thought Cape Town was better for me, so I moved to this side. Yeah.
And you're an artist. How did you start with making art?
I must say I was born an artist.
Yeah.
Because I always mention that I was inspired by my father. He was not an artist, but he was a very busy person. He was more a motor mechanic.
Okay.
He was really a very busy or a full-time motor mechanic who once worked at a Mercedes-Benz, a motor company, and later started working on his own, He was also a karate sensei and the active community member. He was also a former MK soldier, so I was kind of inspired by his involvement in many things, And at this age, right now, I was never employed all my life. I've been doing different types of arts and craft or anything that I could do with myself, with my hands. And if I can mention those, the list is long, man. I have experience of working with many things in terms of arts and craft. I did many things. Wood carving, it's one of the things I did. Beading, crocheting, leather working. I can make shoes, wallet, anything with leather. Like I said, crocheting. I used to make jerseys, hats, scarves, different things. But when it comes to drawing or painting, I must say, since primary school, I remember in primary school I used to attend some art classes. That's the only time I can say I had a kind of small formal lesson in art. That's only then. Otherwise, after that I never had a kind of more formal training in all these things that I mentioned. It was just a process of learning from the others and just keep pushing myself, to do more and learn more, And I must say it's been about personal development. For myself in different areas, not only in creativity, but also in business. I've been also trying to work on that because I also learned or experienced along the way that I really need some business skills also to kind of grow all this that I'm doing, Yeah.
And you organize tours in Langa through Torart. What do these tours aim to show, and why is it so important for people to also see this side of Cape Town?
Right now I'm also a qualified tourist guide and a tourism operator in Langa. It's also another opportunity that I got through my artwork, my art exposed me to other avenues and other opportunities. Tourism is one of those. So around 2009, because of my interaction and working with tourists, I decided to go to college and study for tourism. I did 3 years of a tourism course in Port Elizabeth College in the Eastern Cape. And then I decided after that, from the get-go, my intention was not to go and study for tourism to find a job, but to kind of shape this art business of mine, So after that, I didn't do nothing with it until I came to work in Langa, and after identifying the opportunity in the community of the tourists coming in and out and the lack or the shortage of the local guides, from the community, I decided to kind of create this tourism company or business of mine, which is more obvious about showcasing the local arts and craft and telling stories of this wonderful community of Langa, which we find very important for it to be told, the stories of this community, which is because Langa is a very wonderful community in many ways. Yes, townships, were kind of designed as another were designed for another purpose, But it's our home, man. It's our home. There's a lot of positive things coming from the township. So it's another very interesting and important story to tell to tourists that comes to South Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah, that because one of their main reasons that they come in South Africa for is the very same stories, you know. Yeah, it's the very same local stories and the learning about the local culture, history, and meeting the locals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also want to know, like, what does it mean to be an artist in a township like Langa? Like, how do you manage to sustain yourself also financially as an artist and a cultural worker?
Hey, it's not easy at all, I must say. It's not easy at all, because most of the time you have to go out of the township to get opportunities. You have to go to other places, mostly more in the white areas, I must say. You know, to your CBD, your wherever you can find some tourists or some people who can buy your art, which is more white peoples and the overseas peoples. So we are forced sometimes to go out of the township, to look for those places. And the gallery spaces, you know, we don't have much in the township. Yeah, sometimes we do have some low, community-based gallery spaces, which is sometimes also that are facing some challenges, you know, because of being based in the township, you know. So, yeah, it's not easy at all. So, yeah, you are forced most of the time, just like other community members who are not artists. Thousands of us wake up in the morning, we migrate to other places looking for greener pastures. Yeah, it's not easy, but because of tourism, you know, tourism is one of those, at least working tools or vehicles that are driving or bringing people to the community, to our community, which is Langa. So at least we do have some things going on happening in Langa, you know. But it's not easy. It's not easy most of the time. Mostly, it's one of the main reasons. It's how our communities or the townships were designed. Yeah, we don't have spaces to thrive or to do business. Only spaces just to live, you know, and very limited and very small spaces to live. Yeah. Our homes and our plots are very small, and in those very homes we have like 4 generations or 5 generations living in the same house. So it gets very difficult, you know. Yeah, we are cramped in very small spaces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about like the things that are here, like the art spaces? There is a gallery or other projects with art that are in Langa. Can you tell the listener a bit more about them?
Yes. Fortunately, you know, I must say Langa is one of those communities that are, at least when it comes to activities, you know, art activities and tourism, as we mentioned earlier, that, you know, it's one of the communities that is doing very well in terms of those. And sport life, you know, when it comes to sports, you know. In Langa, we are well represented. So at least we do have some community centers that receive tourists, where some of the local artists are based, you know, and selling their arts and craft. And we have some few, like 2 art galleries that are based in the township, you know, that are based in Langa. And they contributed a lot. They contributed very positively, you know, in terms of arts development and the infrastructure-wise, you know, because they are the living, practical example, you know, of what we want Langa to be, you know. So, yeah, they contributed a lot. And as well as tourists that comes in and out, they kind of made or created a kind of corners or spots where locals can also, you know, sell their little things they are doing with their hands. So, yeah, it's not easy, but there is something, at least something happening. It just needs us as the locals to work more, you know, together in terms of supporting whatever that is happening and developing it further, you know, and growing it further.
Yeah. And you're based in Ikaya Langa. Can you explain what this organization does in total?
Yeah. So I'm based in the old primary school property. It's owned by the Catholic Church opposite us. It's called the St. Francis Center. So the organization that was working in this place, which is the organization that I was attached to, is called Ikayalelanga. Ikayalelanga is a social enterprise project. Yeah, that's what we were doing with Ikayalelanga, which is entrepreneurship through social enterprise. Yeah, social enterprise is a type of business with 3 bottom line principles, which is people's planet, profit. At first also I kind of failed to understand this, business model, but after learning I'm learning the importance of making sure to it, whatever you do, there's a environmental return, social return, as well as making money. After learning the importance of that, I kind of thought also that is something very important to be taught to many people, which is, the importance of making sure that our environment is taken care of, and we look after each other. We ensure that there's a social return, personal development is very important. We make sure that there's a lot of personal development and the awareness, and the things like that to ensure social return, and as well as making our money, which is, and again, cleaner, greener, safer. Cleaner, greener, safer is a kind of unnegotiable something that we have to do. Yeah, it's an unnegotiable standard. Many times we tend to ignore that, we tend to drop the standard to meet the standard. But we have to find creative ways and work hard to meet the standard, which is we have to make the place cleaner, greener, safer. Yeah, for us to be able to create businesses in a place, or entrepreneurs, to develop entrepreneurs. The place must be cleaner, greener, safer, as well as people's planet, profit. If we use those as our viewlens or as our approach in our everything we do, I think we have kind of find it a kind of effective mechanism or tool or a way of doing this. In terms of developing our communities. That's what we were doing with Ikayalelanga for the past 10 years. And I must say that we have a few success stories that we can also, show or make example of. Yes, the place is not cleaner, greener, safer as we want it to be, but with the processes and the measures and the projects that we are doing in the community, the place is getting there. Like I said, we have some few success stories that we can mention, and the work is still going on. I want to talk about your indigenous knowledge that you use in, like, for example, the community gardens here. Could you explain what they are and what the importance of it is? Again, our approach as with our organization, which is I must say the 2 main concepts in the past few years that we are focusing on is community-based tourism and agri-entrepreneurship. Agri-entrepreneurship obviously it goes with under our principles of cleaner, greener, safer, which is turning unused spaces into small gardens. And obviously, it's what at the same time we call healing through heritage. Trying to apply indigenous knowledge system. Because what tends to happen most of the time, we tend to apply the Western system or the Western way of doing these things. Doing our many things, community development or whatever we are doing, but the idea here is to apply indigenous knowledge system, where we are seeing world problems, we are using African system for the world problems, It's something that we kind of find very important for us to do, because as a generation right now, regardless of your race, we are going through a lot, through a lot of trauma. We are really kind of wounded peoples in many ways, Yeah, we are really hurt peoples in many ways. So we are going through a lot, So one of our main healing will come from nature, from restoring our relationship with nature. So taking care of our environment, gardening, gardening, working with nature and the gardening, and also, like I said, using the indigenous knowledge system, which is instead of using Western medicines, we go back to our indigenous herbs, for healing ourselves. Sometimes we tend to run to what you call the drugs from the hospitals for some of any problems or the challenges that we are facing. But some of the challenges or the problems we are facing don't need those. We just need ourselves to ground ourselves and restore and find ways, to be in harmony, with ourselves and nature, So it's one of the kind of approaches we are trying to kind of make use of, in terms of personal development as well, because qualifications alone is not enough. We are going through a lot as peoples. Sometimes you will find that we are working hard for money, and after we get money, we don't get the satisfaction, or we don't get healed or get the solution to the problems. Problems continue, and because one of the challenges that we are facing as this generation is greed. Greed is something that sometimes it's like a spiritual sickness, something that you won't notice that you have, but to have that, you have a problem. So it's very important to restore our relationship with nature. That will help us to kind of balance things, psychologically, spiritually, as like I said, we are not only sick mentally or physically, but spiritually we are also going through a lot, as human beings, regardless of your race. There's a lot that we need. And again, art, like our very same reason of this interview, art plays a very critical role also in that, in kind of reminding people. It's also a process of remembering. It's nothing new to be told. It's not something new, we all know this. But along the way, the chain got broken, so we have to just restore that link, and remember who we are. So it's just,
And you probably seen Langa change over the years. How would you describe the evolution of this community, especially when it comes to art and cultural projects?
Well, I have seen some changes, I must say, but very little.
Okay.
Very little. Yes. One of the main challenges of the township, or peoples from the township, it's still a very big problem of working together. It's still very difficult for us to work together. Yes, we are still trying to find ways of really uniting and start working together. And why the progress is very slow, because most of the work that is happening in Langa or in our communities, most of the time coming from outside. By the city of Cape Town that will be coming and cleaning our communities, kind of networking us, marketing the township. But us in the township, we are just sitting and doing nothing and waiting for things to just come and land just like that.
Yeah.
Which is, it doesn't work that way. Yes, it's good for us. It's also good for us to get help from that side, but we have to play the play the major part. We have to do some of the things by ourselves, which is also understandable. Townships are the background of scarcity, very limited and scarce resources. So sharing and networking is difficult. Everyone prefers to work in silos, and because of many different reasons sometimes, Others want instant results, shortcuts, so it's difficult to help them understand that it's a process. Fail fast, succeed fast. It's a process of growing and it takes consistency. The others, consistency is a challenge. So we are good in working in isolation, and because another black represents a threat to those limited and scarce resources, But you white fellows represent an opportunity to those resources, represent opportunities. So, but it's about the time we start working together, as locals, Yes, very good and important to make sure we maintain or keep our relationship with the others, but it starts from us. We have to find ways. Until we find ways to, then that's where we'll see a very good growth and development in our community. But as long as we are, and I understand, like I said, I don't blame those who are doing like that, because sometimes, there's a lot, that we do to each other. We will borrow and don't return from your friend. Sometimes, because you are working with your fellow from the community, you'll be more reluctant, and until things, it creates a damage to the business or the company, that's why growth, I must say, growth can be really, really slow in our townships. And another thing, because black people currently in South Africa, we don't own land and property. Land and property is a serious issue and a serious challenge currently we are facing in South Africa. We don't own land and property, so it's difficult for us to do permanent things or sustainable things, because anytime you don't know, someone will come and move you, and just remove you or whatever, chase you away from the place or things like that, or rent will be an issue, will be a challenge, because you have to be paying rent that sometimes you don't manage, Rent currently is one of the main challenges all over the world. Rent, if you don't own land and property, chances are you'll be working for rent or for transportation. So those are some of the few challenges that we are facing, but Langa is supposed to be one of those communities that is creating or bringing a lot of opportunities. Langa has got a lot of powerful and beautiful attributes to make it another what you call it, to make it another maybe Maboneng in Cape Town, example of Johannesburg, Maboneng in Johannesburg. Yes, there's a lot that can happen here in Langa. Langa has got a lot of really nice, powerful, things that can make it to try.
And how do you think that art can play a role in the process of decolonization?
Well, it's all it's artists, man. Artist must I don't know, trying to find the right word for it. If I may say that artists, I don't know, they must wake up. Yes, we are not dead, but we are sleeping. That's what basically many founders of Pan-Africanism always say about black peoples, that we are not dead, but we are sleeping. So artists, I must say, many artists, they are just there to make money. Yeah, they are just about make money, but they are not about awakening. Yeah, because really, again, regardless of your race, we all need awakening. We are going the wrong direction, all of us, and we really need to be reminded, So artists can play a very huge role. But unfortunately, that's what also the industry is doing, is not promoting more, those who are, I don't want to sound sometimes biased, but the industry is not doing enough to promote those sometimes the English.
No, it's fine,
But with I don't know if I would say I'm saying it right, with a relevant theme or concept. The industry is not doing enough to kind of support those with a relevant concept or theme in terms of awakening or reminding Africans who they really are. We tend to sometimes focus more on the time wasting, things that are just about, let me say, I would say like that, time wasting, but not on real main kind of issues, art that is sometimes more, what you call it, confrontationally, controversially, sometimes get to be sidelined or, I know sometimes it can be too harsh, but everything is everything in our days, man. We cannot try to be polite in this very kind of like that world, harsh world, if I may say. We have to be free. We have to be free. We have to be who we really are. Not try to please the system or the industry or whatever. Artists can play a very huge role in terms of, but unfortunately it also requires really hard work and determination, because as an artist you must equip yourself with a lot of knowledge, information, because you can't do something that you don't know. So everyone is playing their own role. The others obvious about me just enriching themselves or making their money, which is very important and very good. That's what you must do, but you must know there's also a bigger role and another bigger role, a bigger duty for us to do as artists.
What you mean,
So in terms of awakening, inspiring the young generation, the future change makers, kind of raise more awareness, raise more awareness, because unfortunately politics didn't equip us enough, or education, even traditionally, So artists, I know artists can play a very huge role. Sometimes when I was starting my abstract concept, I wanted it to kind of serve a certain purpose, or to kind of deliver a certain message. And every time when I'm engaging with some art lovers or anyone that comes across my art, fortunately I feel happy that it always leads sometimes to those conversations that I was looking for. That's why, obvious, I wanted my art to be more about symbolism and things like that. So it must trigger or kind of lead to certain conversations. More about politics and history, obvious. About politics and history around that.
Lastly, most importantly, where can people find information about Tozart and Ikaya Lelanga, and how can they get involved?
Okay. Yeah, well, I do have my website that is active and working. Yeah, sometimes I face some challenges, to keep it, consistent and on point. But I have my website, which is tozartsandtours.com. Obvious, www.tozartsandtours.com. And on Instagram, I'm there as Tozamile, and the Facebook, Tozamile or Toz Arts and Tours. I have, my 2 pages on Facebook also. And my emails, you can reach me via my email or my contact numbers, which is the cell number is 073-073-3529. And the email is tozart.langa@gmail.com. Yeah, tozart.langa@gmail.com. Yeah, so, that's how you can reach us or find us. And we are based in Langa community at old primary school property that is called St. Francis Center. Yeah, it's called Ikaya Langa at the same time. The organization that was based here, but the Ikaya Langa moved on. And some of us, as the entrepreneurs and artists from Langa, we are still in this space here. Yeah, in Langa.
Have you any last words of advice, a last message to the listener?
Well, I can say, to the listeners out there, first, love artists, respect artists, support artists. Artists, could have chosen another direction and looked for jobs and this and that, but artists decided to play their role, in the community and remain as artists so that they can contribute in their different ways, So basically that's what art and an artist supposed to do in the community. So artists, must be supported and respected. And lastly, to the artists again, artists, don't be just after chasing the money. Chase the dream. The money, don't worry, it will follow, my brother or sister. It will come. But if you chase your dream, and obviously the dream should be about bringing solutions to our communities or to our country or to our world. Obvious, our dream, I think it should be about that, So, and the same again, if we are going to business, if your business is about solving problems or it's about a solution, then you have one business. Same as artists. If your artist about addressing relevant issues, solving problems in the community, that's it, So, artists stay focused, and be faithful to your work. Your role and your job is very important and very big. So, that's what I can say.
Couldn't agree more. Thank you so much, Tozamile.
Thank you. Thanks, Camilla.
That was Tozamile from Tozart. I want to thank him again, and like he said, you can find more information at the website www.tozartandtours.co.za or contact him via email. It's tozart.langa@gmail.com or on Instagram, which is @rastozamile. This is the next track. It's Passion Dance by Oreglo.
mash up the party, we go hard. Oh my lord, oh my lord. Me and Amanda mash up the party, we go hard. Some on a skunk, some on a fiendin', some on a cat, some on a beefing tip for a tap, some on a trap there, turn off your tap. Step in a room with a hat and a mat, step in a room, I ask your app. Ease yourself when I shut down your app, quick ting on a mic, no zip and a zap. End of the ship, see me dancing teeth, I smile, my fingers a pearl in my teeth. Fence in your face, no hands in the beef, don't ask my dubs if I don't know you. Time with a lento, diligently, Presto came with a measure that's me. Ain't no movie, Travis me, get burnt and spun like a DVD. Oh my lord. Oh my lord, me and Amanda mash up the party, we go hard. Oh my lord, me and Amanda mash up the party, we go hard.
Radio 89.5. I love this station.
That was Passion Dance by Oreglo, and now it's already time for our last segment of the day, which is the art tip of the week. Each week I share an event that is for free or doesn't cost much in or near Cape Town. That is related to art, of course. And this week my tip is the French Hook Literary Festival that runs from the 16th to the 18th of May next weekend. And the festival brings together book lovers, local and international authors, and two leaders for open, inspiring conversations. The festival is known for its informal and lively discussions covering important topics as well as lighter fun sessions. It also supports local school libraries through its outreach program, helping to grow a strong reading culture in the community. You can find out more information on their website. It's www.flf.co.za. So yeah, that was my art tip of the week, and yeah, it's already the end of Art Speakers on Bush Radio. I will catch you next week. Art Speakers is every Saturday from 3 to 4 p.m. on Bush Radio 89.5 FM. I'm Camille, and the last song is a surreal and satirical piece by Gauthier called State of the Art. He uses a vintage electronic organ that he got from his parents, and Gauthier turns this machine into a character, blending voice distortion, synth sound, and also storytelling. And the song plays with the themes of technological obsession and customers' culture. So let's give it a listen. This is Gauthier with State of the Art. This was Art Speakers. I'm Camille. Catch Art Speakers every weekend, every Saturday from 3 to 4 p.m. on Bush Radio 89.5 FM. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.
Model B575 has custom food presets and harmony plus in addition. Now for an arm and a leg, you get 3 half dozen beats to choose from. So now we can pretend There's an orchestra in the lounge room. I put the genie bass on, so my left hand can play the choir. The 16-foot diapason on, and Larry's patented orchestral symphonizer. Banjo's great on repeat. The kids want to play, but they'll have to be patient. The wife can't help tapping feet. It's a genuine home entertainment revelation.
State of the art. Listen to the difference. By use of a computer.
Go out when we could spend a night at home with the cotillion, invite the neighbors around, start the bossa nova beat and then off from the living to the kitchen, enjoy the state of the art. The magic swing piano really is astounding, and we can't tell them apart, but these amazing simulations end up sounding even better than the real thing.
State of the art. Computer controlled.
Bush Radio 89.5. I love this station.